Hi, my name is Alex Boyer and my presentation is on Lilith in Judeo and Christian tradition. However, I'm going to start actually before those religions came into play. I'm going to start in Mesopotamia, where you can first see Lilith. She's either called Lilithu or Lulu, who was a mother goddess, and then you can see her again in Greek traditions where she is the goddess of the black moon. In both these religions, she's definitely regarded a little bit better, and she's revered by her worshippers as someone who protects and helps the people instead of a demon. However, in Christian tradition, she's very demonized by the writer of the Bible. Some scholars believe that in Genesis 1, that's actually the creation of Lilith and not another creation of Eve. Lilith was created at the same time as Adam, and she was created in the image of God as well as Adam was. However, this kind of led to her independent streak. She would eventually tell Adam that she's not going to lie beneath him, that she does want her own independence and autonomy in the way that she acts. So she leaves the Garden of Eden. The angels go after her and they try to persuade her, not to go. Like, there's so much life to be had in the Garden of Eden, but because she is subservient to Adam, or that's the position she's supposed to take, Lilith does not return to the Garden of Eden. And then, depending on which tradition you follow, either she had offspring with Adam or she had offspring with the archangel Samuel. No matter what, the offspring were demonic, and they resulted most likely in incubi and succubi. And succubi, of course, being sex demons who use their sexual power to gain control over humanity, which definitely shows how Lilith is viewed, how she uses sex in order to gain power. And it's interesting in the context where she says that she will not lie beneath Adam, because it definitely shows either in a sexual way that she's not going to be submissive to him, or in like an everyday way that she still is his equal and demands that kind of treatment from him. And then in Genesis 2, of course, we have the creation of Eve. And then Lilith, depending if you believe that she is a serpent, because in the Mesopotamian myth, she was always accompanied by 6 women who had snake tails. So that imagery of snakes being related to Lilith might have come over from Mesopotamian times, where she now is completely a snake and she tricks Eve into eating the apple as a way of retribution. With that tricking of Eve and Adam, of course, she damns humanity, which I think is kind of interesting to me because she gave them the knowledge that she kind of seems to already have, like that sexual knowledge of independence and then good and evil knowledge of what she thinks is good and what she thinks is bad, that I believe that when Adam and Eve eat from the apple, they also gain. So either she's the catalyst for what I would consider humanity as it is now, the one that knows that innately that there's good and evil out there, or she damned humanity into having that knowledge. Another interesting point I think it brings about God is that he is a flawed creator. We definitely see God as someone who is, perfect, that he makes things that are good and he's like creates them in a couple of days, whereas he did create very almost evil, I guess is what you would call them, things such as Lucifer, who was an archangel at first, but due to disobeying God, like Lilith would eventually disobey God, they were cast out. This shows a really interesting point about society at the time, because whoever wrote the Bible was definitely trying to insinuate people who are not going to follow the traditions or blindly obey were not welcome in paradise, because they wanted a society who would understand their place and be willing to accept it. So God making these flawed characters, I just think is an interesting look into the psyche of God, of how he doesn't create supremely good things. He creates things and gives them a choice of what kind of path that they want to follow, whether it's good or bad. I think Lilith is very interesting because before the creation of Judaism and Christianity, we had very polytheistic and matriarchal religions. Like in Greek traditions, there was like Athena. In Mesopotamia, we had Lilith, who is the personification of Lilith, who was a protector, a creator. We had Isis in the Egyptian tradition, a lot of strong, powerful women who could keep up with the men and were on power, like were on the same level of their power. Whereas Lilith, it shows the demonization of those ideals. From a woman who was a protector of children, in the Bible, when she's mentioned by name, it says that she is a threat to children and women in childbirth and that she goes after them, which of course is a 180 from what she was in Mesopotamian tradition. Also, she's a very big feminist icon because she would not be subservient to the man, which eventually would be Eve's punishment, is that every woman would be happy to be subservient and ruled by a man. So I think she just goes against the idea, which is very powerful, and it's honestly helpful to women who decide that they're not going to go on the path they should. So I think Lilith is just a very interesting and not well-known Bible character who definitely shaped a lot of events. Thank you so much for listening to my PowerPoint. Have a